Hello, hello, greetings, salutations.
How you doing?
How we doing, everybody? Just like trying to keep an eye on audio, just really quick. We're trying a new setup. If things sound weird, or if we sound too loud, or whatever, just let me know in chat. I'll be watching over here. Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Andy, one of the community managers here at Funcom, and I'm joined today with
Dennis, the lead designer of Conan Exiles.
We did it, folks. That is okay. Music is out of tune. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in today. Sorry for any inconvenience or disappointment caused earlier this week. We intended to do this on Tuesday, but couldn't because those rascally germs.
Yep, I have Rugrats, and they bring things home from daycare.
Yep.
I was out of commission, but I'm back now.
You're good now, yep.
Yep.
And so we're here today streaming live, also commemorating those of you playing on PC, the public test build for 3.0 is actually now live. So when you all get home or whenever you can fire up Test Live for the test branch and check out some of the stuff on your own. So yeah, we're really excited to go over just like more stuff today, going over some of your questions from social media and the forums, and hopefully allaying, whatever questions or concerns you may have. We'll try to go over things that we haven't already gone over in like our past videos and streams. There will be some repeats, of course, because not everyone has seen like our past content or past streams or whatever. So we will retread some information that you may or may not have heard before. So if you've heard a question before and heard the answer, please be patient because some people are new. So let's see, let's see. I'm gonna just turn this up a little bit. Cool. Excellent start. Okay. Cool. So, any opening thoughts from you, friend?
Oh no, I'm just here to answer the question.
Cool. Okay.
And reiterate that you guys can hop on the Test Live client now and play the Age of Sorcery now. The big difference between what we have now and what will be launched is that we have all of the monetization-oriented things disabled right now, so you can't use the Battle Pass, you can't buy things in the shop, and that's just because there's a difference in our account system, and we don't want you to spend money in a test environment and then not get that whenever you transfer back to start playing on a live server.
Yeah.
So everything gameplay-wise is there, right?
Yeah, we wanted to be able to set up like a sandbox thing for Test Live as well, but I think because of the way that, I guess the way it works with like our account system and with Steam and all that, yeah, we couldn't really figure out a way to safely do that without, just having less than ideal consequences. So.
Yeah, and with the time that we have, so we're trying to get everything out to everyone as soon as possible, and why wait for something like that when we can let you play the game now and worry about the new stuff that's in the Battle Pass and shop later.
Yeah, and then like we'll try to cover what we can about that like here today as well, because I know there's been a lot of questions, of course, about like the Battle Pass and monetization in general. So we'll try to cover what we can today as well, since you can't like physically like get your hands on it on Test Live yet. Of course, the official version's coming out soon enough, but we'll get to that when it comes. So okay, to start things off, there were a couple. So we have just a few questions here that we wanted to go over, and then we're going to be going over some questions that I've seen from our forum thread and on social media, and then of course I'll be keeping an eye on chat as best I can to take any questions all that are relevant. For the sake of time and for the sake of clarity, we're going to focus all questions today on the update, so the Age of Sorcery update. And so if you have any like questions about like your server or like your clan or Zendesk stuff, like we won't really be able to address that on today's stream, just to get that out of the way. So, and thank you all for the compliments about my beard. I grew it myself, it's huge. So okay, to start things off, one of the most common questions that we see, of course, is release date when? We can't tell you yet. But obviously, since it's out on Test Live, it should be fairly soon, but we want to make sure that y'all can get your hands on it and play with it and break things. And so we're gonna, we only can do so much internally to like find these things. And so, we now need to lean on you to be able to find stuff that's broken and or get your feedback to us and let us know like what you think of some of the gameplay changes.
Additionally,
Yeah.
we're also in certification for consoles, so we can't release until those are done and verified. And we want to give some time for modders to be able to update their mods to be ready for the update as well, which is part of what we've that's like.
Yeah, and so yeah, as soon as we as soon as we're done with the certification process on consoles as well, and when we have a real date locked in, that's when we'll be able to share. But we don't want to say anything before all this stuff is done. Otherwise, yeah, we don't want to have to keep changing the date. Yeah, Xbox and PlayStation owners might remember patch 2.5 where we had some issues trying to get that out through certification. So we're trying to avoid that this time. Yeah, let's see here. Another question that came up a lot was regarding Battle Pass. Can I progress the Battle Pass on private and modded servers? The answer is yes. Let's see. Do you want to? So why do challenges rather than traditional DLC system? Might have more insight on this. Designed it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, challenges serve two functions. The Battle Pass in Conan Exiles is a little bit different than a Battle Pass in, just for sake of example, something like Fortnite, Call of Duty, where those games have they have a game that you go in, you play a match, and then you get rewarded based on your performance in the match. There's no performance in a survival game, right? We don't want to track how hard did you farm and how many things did you kill in this past hour specifically, and then at some point be okay, here's where you're rewarded for it. So you have to break that down to a smaller scale and say, okay, well, here's some things that you could do to get the experience and go unlock it. And these are all going to be things that you encounter throughout normal gameplay. So harvesting minerals, killing enemies, visiting certain places. We might ask you something strange, like to do an emote somewhere or something like that, right? But it's places that you would go because you're playing the game already anyway. So they serve the purpose of being able to reward you with progress in the Battle Pass, giving you some smaller motivations or goals to do while you're playing. So maybe, hey, I've been playing and I'm kind of bored. I don't know what I should be doing with my time. So you look at the challenge list and find something to do. I guess that's probably the biggest thing to say about them, is that they're there to give you progress in the Battle Pass. And outside of that too, it's not a lot different than normal DLC, where previously you would pay and you would get a lump of armor and building pieces and pets or whatever, and you can still pay for that stuff in the Battle Pass if you want to. You could pay to unlock levels directly without having to grind them out. So if anyone's worried about the grind and saying, I just want to be able to pay for it and get it, you can just pay for it and get it.
Yeah, and you're the designer, you have a family with two little toddlers, so it's not like you have a ton of time yourself, free time, so you more than a lot of folks, I think, also understand the time requirement.
Yes.
And the lack of time that one has.
I value your time. I value my time, so I can understand how you value yours. And none of us involved want it to be a thing where you have to log in and play every hour of every day to be able to finish the Battle Pass. We've mentioned it in previous streams, but it's essentially designed around playing an hour session 2 times a week. So throughout the course of a week, as long as you play for about 2 hours, you should be able to finish the Battle Pass in the amount of time that it takes for the Battle Pass to expire before the next one comes out.
Background too loud. Yes, I appreciate it. Actually, yeah, since if we're on the topic of challenges, do we want to just show that off again, just really quick again?
I can open the challenge window up. We're on an internal build that has all this stuff turned on right now. When you guys come on to test live, I think what you'll see is a full screen overlay that hides all of these things. And I'm going to give the disclaimer again too, that anything you see in the Battle Pass and Bazaar, price and position of those things may vary. So, we may move rewards from one part of the Battle Pass to another, or we may change the prices of things that are on the Bazaar now. They're still being worked on. It really won't be done until you guys have it in your hand.
Yeah. So as a quick disclaimer, like anything shown here is still like in development, like still like subject to change, and so please don't form like final conclusions based on what you're shown off today. As a note, also, to anyone watching videos or anyone out there like creating content based on this, like please just be aware this is again not final.
This is off topic, but yeah, the new attributes are on Test Live now.
Yes, yeah. So you can all like check that out yourself if you want. And again, we'll try to go over what we can today because obviously not everyone can access that, especially right now. You might be at work or it might be really late or something like that. Japanese friends. One person asks, the Phantom Fool TV on Twitch asks, will different battle passes have different themes once like Age of Sorcery ends? The answer is yes. We won't be able to go into what those themes might be in the future, but not every like chapter or season, I guess it's commonly called, going to be Age of Sorcery or like called or based around sorcery, for example. So it'll change.
Yep.
Yeah, there'll be a new chapter roughly every 3-ish months.
Yeah, I believe it's 91 days. So yeah, it's about every 3 months you should see a new chapter come out. Right now we're aiming for every age to have either 2 or 3 chapters, depending on how much time we need to finish the feature of it or the storytelling of it. And then we'll move on to another one after that. So after Age of Sorcery, there will be a new age. And in that new age, there will be new mechanical updates, new cosmetic updates. The battle pass itself will, be replaced with a new one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you who haven't been able to like follow along previously too, ages are what we're calling like basically like every like major season, and then chapters are within that age or that season are like they're broken up into different passes and different like arcs, I guess, of storytelling, because we are including like some world building and some storytelling through the battle pass as well.
Yeah, you can think of the age as like the full the major story arc, and the chapters to be smaller stories within that. Chapters.
Okay. Just going off of some of the chat here. Again, we're trying to focus today's questions on Age of Sorcery and anything relating to it. I see a bunch of questions about servers and all that. Please, just contact Zendesk.
Someone asked if they'd have to pay for the battle pass every time. It just depends on whether or not you finished the one previously. So, if we look at the battle pass here, again, remember everything in here could be moved around, changed, whatever. One thing that will remain constant is that every so often you'll unlock 120 coins back. So once you've unlocked those 120 coins, every time in the battle pass, I think if we get the whole way to the end, the last one is somewhere around level 52 or something like that.
It's 51 and 57, yeah.
So if you reach level 57, you get back all the Crom coins that you spent buying that battle pass. You can pocket those, keep them, and wait for the next battle pass, and unlock the next one with effectively the same, money that you bought to unlock the first one.
Yeah, so once you complete the battle pass, then you can just, again, sit on it, or you can buy the next battle pass when it comes out if you want. And again, like you'll find that the battle pass like doesn't take ages to finish out either. So we're not asking you again to like, take weeks at a time to just like grind a few levels or whatever. Like you should be able to get it done relatively well, we hope. And so that way, like, if you're playing a bunch, then you can keep getting like new passes like for the future.
One thing that's I guess worth mentioning is we want to keep an eye on how long it's taking people to finish the battle pass as well. If we think it's going too fast or too slow, we actually have the ability to change the experience that you receive from the challenges on the back end. So we don't even need to patch the game. We can just see, everyone's going way slower than we thought. Let's increase the base experience of these challenges. So right now we have a static multiplier for how much bonus you get. We're working on making that variable as well. So some challenges may be worth more than others because of the multiplier, but even the base value.
Indeed. Okay, Phantom Fool TV asks again, you receive a set of daily challenges. So, okay, what you're seeing right now, the bonus multiplier thing you see at the very top of each card, you get one of those like per day, per card. But you can, once you've like finished the challenge, a new one pops up that takes its place. You just don't get the bonus multiplier for that one unless you have them accumulated or whatever.
Yes. So on the screen that we have right here, these are 5 of my 20 multipliers. So if I were to complete all of these, I would still have 15 multipliers, and I can finish a total of 20 challenges today and get the multiplied experience. Once those multipliers are gone, I will still continue to get challenges, but they will no longer be worth 10 times the experience. And whenever the challenge reset timer refreshes, here it's in 21 hours and 25 minutes, I'll get 5 more of those bonuses. So these queue up to 20 to let you, to not force you to play every day. Like I said, I respect your time, I respect my own time. So if I don't have time to play today, my kids got sick, I can't play for 2 or 3 days. When I come back, I'll have those 10 or 15 multipliers waiting for me. I didn't lose any time in the battle pass.
Then a couple other questions here. Yeah, does the pass work on private servers? Like all the challenges in the battle pass, like all the progression stuff works on private servers, works in any game mode, complete challenges.
Yeah. Someone asked if they're transferred to private hosted servers. They're actually part of your account. So you may sometimes see errors for like FLS or connecting to FLS. That's shorthand for Funcom Live Services, and that's the account system we have running in the back end that you connect to, and it saves information about you, like what's on your account. As long as you have a connection to FLS, you can use the battle pass, you can use challenges, you can use the store. The interesting thing, I guess, about challenges is whenever you log in, the challenges you get that day are based on the first server and character that you log into. So we have criteria for gating how difficult a challenge can be. So someone who's playing the game for the first time doesn't get a challenge to go to Seprimeru immediately. So what you will get is based on who you are whenever you log into play, and they'll stay that way until they reset in 21 hours. And then next time you log in, you get another set of fresh ones based on the character you log into.
Yeah, and all the rewards are linked to your account and not necessarily the character, with the exception of some of the consumable items, like the consumable prizes that you get for completing the battle pass. So, for example, these one-time stacks of spell potions that you might get through the battle pass, you can only get that on a single character ever. You can't make a new character, claim another set of potions or whatever, or anything like that. You only ever get one. This is the specifically for this battle pass. These spell potions are intended to kind of be like a here's a quick free taste of sorcery in case you wanted to try it out.
Yeah, there's some fun novelty, right?
Yeah,
it's a little thing we can throw you and be like, here's a taste of the system that you can interact with if you keep playing.
Yeah, and it's all the consumable spell potions are free to get as long as you actually level up the battle pass. So you don't actually have to buy the battle pass to even get I think any of the potions that we have through at least this battle pass.
Yeah,
I want to say.
Like I said before, things could change, but I think that all of the consumable potions will remain in the free slots.
Yeah, and as you go through the battle pass, you'll see there's a little it just says free above the item. And so once you can still level up the battle pass without having bought it. And so for example, if you reach level 35 if you hadn't bought it, if you reach level 35 in the battle pass, you can then claim a stack of 5 slow fall potions. Mm-hmm. Once ever. But otherwise, if you get an emote on one character, then you can sign on to your other friend's server or something like that, and then you'll still have that emote on whatever character you create on whatever other private server you have.
Yeah, it's part of that FLS account I mentioned earlier.
Yep. Okay, let's see. And then kind of on that note, some people might also ask, will there be other single-use items in the battle pass or in the bazaar?
Right now, we don't have plans to sell anything that's temporary. We may put single-use items in there. They're intended to be for free. I guess there's not really anything else I can say about it now. Just that, we may try different things with the store. but we don't plan on selling anything that's temporary at the moment.
Yeah, and again, like we really want to, like our commitment is also like we want to avoid like selling any kind of power or anything like that. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so everything you're gonna find in the battle pass, everything you'll find at Bazaar are focused around cosmetic options, up to including different building like different decorations that you can place, different costumes, different building styles. We also have like some new. It's not quite called wall sprays, but like war paints. Not war paints. Those are tattoos. We have like a new spray system where you might be able to pick up some new decals where you can spray on a wall or something like that. But yeah, we're not going to give you straight up like new weapons with like unique stats or anything.
Anything, no legendaries.
Yeah. So like anything you get is going to be very similar to like the older DLCs that we have, where like you'll get like an iron tier version of a weapon, and then like probably like a star metal version of that weapon, as an example. I hope that helps answer that. Will the battle pass be attached to one account? Yes. So it's whatever you use to log into Funcom live services. That's what the battle pass progression and all your purchases and anything like that will be tied to. So if you log into a separate account, it'll have its own. Yeah, you won't be able to transfer progress or whatever between like separate physical accounts.
Yeah, I think that question might be aimed at someone who plays on both PC and PlayStation, for example. So your account is not cross-platform. The account's created automatically in the back end. We did this so it would be as like non-intrusive to you as possible. We didn't want everyone that was going to play everyone that was going to play Conan Exiles to have to like go to a website, sign up with their email, put in their address and their credit card and stuff. So we just have it automatically created based on the platform you log into, and because of that, they're not linked. We don't want to ask you to link accounts. Again, anything can change in the future if there's a big enough outcry for it, but we thought that the ease of logging into an account and not having to ever worry about that account is more beneficial to you than having you jump through those hoops to link accounts.
Indeed. Thank you. Let's see. Going over some other questions. Did we get an okay about like going over crown coin stuff, or do we want to save that for another time? Get word back from.
I asked about the battle pass specifically, so
okay.
I can unlock the battle pass. See that?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I think
Sweet battle passing.
Yeah, I think some folks have questions about how that will all work, and of course, they're gonna have. There are, of course, going to be a lot of questions, and we anticipated this about Bazaar works and how like coins work and all that. So.
Yep. And two things in chat. One, yes, no plans for cross-play or cross-progression at the moment, and there are no server wipes for 3.0. So yeah, I'll just go through it now. I'm just going to show you guys what it's like to unlock the Battle Pass, because we have this awesome animation for it and stuff, and I just want to show it off. But I already have a bunch of Crom coins on this account that I gave it before stream, and again, prices are subject to change, but whenever you want to buy coins, you can come to this page and it'll show you these are how much you get for what amount. And once you buy them, you can come down to this button to buy the battle pass. And you can see too, right now I don't have the battle pass unlocked, so all these things have a little lock on them because I haven't actually bought the because I haven't completed the levels to unlock them. But the things that I can unlock, I need to buy the battle pass before I can claim it. So there's no option to claim this right now. The orange background implies it is unlocked, however. So if I buy the battle pass now, the only difference between these two things is that the premium battle pass comes with 15 extra levels. So I'll buy the premium battle pass now just to get the extra levels and show you guys what those unlocks look like. Spend my coins. Beep boop beep.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. I actually hadn't seen that before, so that's actually pretty cool.
And then when you unlock things, we play some fanfare to show you what you unlock.
Cool. I actually hadn't seen this before, so it's nice to see.
Yeah, and if you want to skip it and get rid of it, you can.
Cool.
Otherwise, here we are with all the stuff that I've unlocked now. So you can see I got this cool armor set with a spiky hat. Here's an illusion. So with the illusions, part of the new sorcery update is you can unlock the Thalmaturgy Bench put two items together, make one item look like the other one. So this is one that you can apply without having to get that item, basically.
Yeah, there's some restrictions. So yeah, we call it the illusion system. It allows you to alter the appearance of a base item with another item. That with the caveat that you must be able to craft the item that you want to make the item look like, and then also the item's appearance, the items whose appearance you want to use also has to be of the same type as the weapon you're applying the look to. So you can't make an axe look like a dagger, but if you have if you have a dagger and you know how to craft like another fancier dagger or something like that, you can then apply the fancy appearance to the other appearance, and it'll keep the stats of the previous item.
Yeah, we're thinking about opening this up some too. I think in the version that's on test live right now, there might be a restriction that says heavy armor must match heavy armor, but that wasn't the intent. So
cool. Okay.
It may be that you can put a light helmet on a heavy helmet and have the heavy helmet have the appearance of a light helmet. That is the intent. I don't really see a need to restrict armor class in terms of what kind of looks you can apply.
That was something that was brought up a lot.
The immediate complaint that people will have is, what about PvP, right? But I think that we've seen in enough games at this point that this system doesn't really have a big impact on PvP, right? If anything, it just makes you respect your opponent a bit more and feel out the fight instead of just saying, oh, I can stomp on that guy because he's wearing light armor.
Right.
I'm just going to go trounce him. Maybe now you're a little bit more considerate about the engagements you take. At worst, maybe you just go whack on everybody,
Yeah. I mean, I guess ultimately it shouldn't change too much, but obviously if it's a huge problem, we can always try to make some change too.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad to hear. I actually hadn't heard that myself, so that's really nice to hear.
We're also thinking about taking off the restriction to need to know the item you want to steal the look from. One of the big reasons for that is because you can't learn to make a lot of legendary items. Or you couldn't transmog legendary items. So we might lift that restriction, so maybe you can go either way with it and just combine whatever. Cool. Still kicking it around though, so nothing official.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. That's what this period's all about.
And now I'm just going to claim my items too, so if I go back to the beginning, I have all this stuff unlocked, it has that orange background. So now if I have two buttons, I can claim this reward, and it'll give me the thing that I unlocked. Now that's on my account. I have it. If I come over to the knowledge page, and there's a new tab over here called Ancestral Knowledge, this shows all the stuff that you unlock through the Battle Pass or through the shop. So now I can come here and see that the Aegis armor is here. This is what I just got. And going back to the Battle Pass, I can also claim all the rewards. So now it'll just do all of them, and it'll play that fanfare like when I earned them the first time.
And of course, again, you can skip this if you don't want to see the animation. I can see that. See folks wanting to get through that.
Yep. And just like before, if I come back, all that stuff's been added to this list. Additionally, it should show me where I can make all this stuff. We updated this a little bit, so it doesn't stringently need to say which table it's crafted at if something is an item that's not necessarily crafted at a table. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you.
There's Battle Pass. Oh, the other thing about Battle Pass I mentioned before is if you want to buy levels, you can. So now, these things. So when I say buy levels, I'm talking about these up here at the top. These are the levels that you unlock by completing challenges. If you don't want to complete challenges, you can come down to any of these things that you haven't unlocked. As long as there's not stuff to claim, you'll see this button to buy level unlocks. And then you can choose how many levels you want to buy. I want to buy 5 levels. So, bam, the little thing increments. And now I get 5 more levels worth. Easy peasy.
Sweet. Thank you. We'll get the sorcery. It's fine. Don't worry. Well, okay, yeah, and hopefully that answers some extra questions that I saw in chat. And also I know one person was asking a bunch about how do you even get crown coins? And you can see, you do purchase pre-made packs or whatever. Just have whatever you have. If you need more, you get more. And then by completing the battle pass, you get exactly 1,200 coins, which means then purchase next battle pass. Yep.
Someone said in another live stream, we said we wouldn't let them transmog heavy over light. I don't think that's the case. Go back and check it and correct me if I'm wrong, but this has been my intended design from the get-go.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah, I might have misspoken then because I
Possible.
Yeah, I probably said the wrong thing. At least for weapons, I know I had gone on record saying that you have to have the same type. I was under the impression that it was the same thing for armor, but I wasn't sure if...
Yeah, it was probably just a communication.
Okay, gotcha, yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, you can only buy Chrome coins, that's right. We do also have a tab to go to the DLC, but when you click one of these, we're on Steam right now, so if I click one of these, it's just going to open the Steam overlay and take me to that DLC. So those old expansions and old culture packs, you still have to buy through the first-party stores. Steam, Epic Games Store, Xbox, Sony's.
Is there a max amount of challenge, okay. So, Colorado Mountain Man on YouTube asks, is there a maximum amount of challenge of XP per month or week, or can those be accumulated indefinitely? So you can indefinitely complete challenges, but the bonus multipliers cap at some point, I think? I forget. Do you remember?
Yeah.
You said like a weekend's worth or something like that?
Yeah, I think that the final number is going to be 20. Basically, I want you to be able to have 5 for today and up to 3 additional days of backlogged XP bonuses.
So you just gain passively when you're not online or whatever?
You get them, see it says challenges reset in 21 hours on screen. Every day at a certain time, you'll get 5 new multipliers. So every day you will get 5. If you complete those 5 challenges, those will be multiplied 10x as it stands right now. And if you don't play for a few days, you will accumulate multipliers in the background. So that number caps at 20 right now, which is a combination of the past 3 days, so 5, 10, 15 multipliers, plus today, 20.
Cool. Then it helps answer that. Thank you for your question, Mountain Man. Is Age of Sorcery a paid DLC or free? It is so the sorcery itself and all the gameplay changes that comes with it is going to be free for everyone.
Yeah. The whole idea with this setup that we're switching over to is that we can release more content more frequently and have the content that we create be completely disconnected from the need to pay for the content. So we'll release new features, new gameplay, and in this case it's going to be sorcery. That's the big thing you get. Balance changes, new items, blah, blah, blah. All of that is for free. And that is basically paid for by the fact that we have this additional system on top, which is challenges, battle pass, and Bazaar. So we separate those two and let one fuel the other.
Yeah, because that, the tricky topic, of course, is ultimately we need to be able to afford to continue paying folks that work hard on making cool stuff for the game. And so, supporting the shop, supporting the Battle Pass directly supports development, continued development of Conan Exiles to reach even greater heights.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about this earlier today. One thing that you see people say frequently is, you're just being greedy. You just want more money. It's not that we want more money, it's that we want to make the game better. And unfortunately, it does take people and money to make games better. But at the end of the day, we just want the game to be as good as it can be.
Yeah,
that is the end goal. If you look at anybody in video games, nobody's in it for money. It's not like the most lucrative industry to be in. We do it because we love it.
Yep, that is extremely true. Yeah. So, yeah, it's like at the end of the day, we just want to make really cool stuff and make a cool game that we want to play and that hopefully you want to play too. But the reality also is that we got to keep the lights on and we got to have roofs over people's heads. Of course, here we got to our insurance. Oh, I won't get on. We love money. So yeah, money's great. No, I hate money. So let's see. I'm just babbling. Looking over. So, What will this new DLC release system mean for old DLCs that have already been released? So we just covered that a little bit, but all the existing extras that you can purchase will continue to be available on whatever platform you're playing on, and so that's not, as far as I know, that we have no plans on like changing that or removing that or like rolling that into the store. I mean, obviously things can change like sometime in the future, but I don't see that happening anytime soon.
We wanted, whenever we set out to do all of this, we wanted to roll the old DLC into the store, the new stores that we put in, and just have those items be part of it. But the problem becomes that we can't easily identify what you own in Steam and use that to either discount things in our store or say that you own them in our store. Mm-hmm. So the easiest thing for us was just to keep those two things separate. Those will continue to use the system that they use, and going forward, the new stuff will just be completely separate. One of the cool things about our store is that we do have dynamic discounts. So if you own some parts of a bundle, that bundle's price will be reduced because you don't pay for those things again, obviously, right? Yeah. Just like if you buy a bundle in Steam, there's 5 games in it, you own 3 of them, you just pay for 2 of them. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gets prorated based on what you already have. So yeah, we're not going to ask you to pay $10 or whatever if you already own like 4 of the 5 pieces, for example.
Exactly.
So, kind of on that topic, I know some folks had some questions about the Bazaar. There isn't a ton to cover about it, I guess, but I know like some folks might have questions about how, like, what the layout is, and especially with the timers and stuff like that. I know we've gone over this before, but I think it bears repeating, I think. Yeah, what we have here, this is the Bazaar interface. This is where you'll be able to pick up some extras that we're offering up that aren't part of the Battle Pass. Might still be themed around the like current age, for example, but not necessarily. But this gives us the freedom to be able to kind of make stuff that isn't necessarily with a certain like theme of an age or like a culture or anything like that.
We have a balance that we try to strike.
Yeah.
I don't want to quote the numbers because I'll be off, but some percentage of it is themed to the age and purpose, and a lot of it is not, because we still just want to do random stuff. We don't want to, pigeonhole ourselves into making only sorcery things for the next, 9 months.
Yeah.
And then there's other cool stuff we can give.
And the advantage of this system also is that like we can just kind of put some cool stuff as we conceptualize it and make it available. That can even be like seasonal themed or anything like that. We have some more freedom to be able to put more like outfits or building styles in the game that aren't necessarily tied to a certain specific culture or again a Battle Pass theme.
Someone asked if the Bazaar will have discounts. There will be times things go on sale in the Bazaar.
Yeah, and then just to make this like super duper clear, those timers that you see are just of like the items rotate at different intervals. I think it's like the really big thing that you see in the Bazaar, like the front and center thing, maybe I think cycles every week, and then the smaller ones have differing times of like, I want to say like a day or a week or something like that as well.
I don't remember the exact timings off the top of my head.
Yeah.
The bigger the picture, the longer it stays around is the idea.
And then and again, this is just the rotation, so it's not like, once the flamboyant feasts, for example, like goes away in 2 minutes and 40 seconds or so, like it'll be back at some point. So like you're not gonna ever like permanently miss out on that, for example. Like there might be some like seasonal stuff potentially in the future that like like a lot of other games or a lot of other events that we've done, like if you don't like, you might only have it available during the event, but like it's not, you're not gonna like lose it forever. And again, prices are not final, so what you're seeing here is not necessarily final pricing. Let's see. Stay on the store screen for as long as possible. Okay, sure, you got it. And then play Conan without the Battle Pass. I mean, yeah, I guess. You don't have to care about it if you don't want to. Like, you don't have to buy it. Still get some free stuff just for playing. Like, as long as you can get your challenges done. But you don't have to... If you don't want to pay attention to the challenges either, like, you don't have to. Like, nothing's forcing you to do it. And if you don't really, like... If the various options that are available in the Battle Pass don't really speak to you, that's cool. You don't have to get it. It doesn't directly affect your gameplay, like, at all. Like, you can still get sorcery, you can still learn everything.
Yeah, you can just play the game the way you play it today.
Like, once this update launches, like, you don't have to change anything, really. I mean, you'll have to change some things, like your attributes and, like, there'll be some balance changes, but like the big picture way you play the game like won't change, even when the update drops.
As a modder, I'd like to ask if Battle Pass items will be available in the dev kit. They will not. Just like previous DLC items, we do not ship those with the dev kit.
Thank you. Let's see. Will Battle Pass work in single player? It should.
Yes, it does. And co-op.
And co-op. Will Battle Pass be time limited, or can we buy and activate old Battle Passes at a later date? So no, they will be. So every time a new chapter rolls around, your progress on the existing Battle Pass will refresh, and you'll just start progressing the new chapter once that comes up. And then if you have enough Crom coins, you can just buy the next pass.
We don't have any plans to add retroactive Battle Passes at the moment. The biggest thing to drive home here is just that it's really easy to finish a Battle Pass. So I understand it being a concern. I really do.
Yeah, same.
Once you guys get in and get your hands on it, and you can start, testing it out, you'll see there's not going to be any worry about whether or not you can finish it if you want to participate in it.
Yeah, like obviously we've seen a lot of plenty of anxiety and trepidation about like how that system works, but the hope is that once you're able to jump in and see that the Battle Pass is not really all that impressive at all.
Imagine.
Ooh. To level up, then we hope it won't be too much of an issue. Like obviously, like there's like some concerns also about some folks who might like work like really high intensity jobs who like can't really play all that much. Like if you work at if you're like a night shift at like a hospital or something like that. Like we understand that, and that's it's something we're thinking about, but we're going to be going ahead with the current plan. Let's see. You say it's really easy to finish the Battle Pass, but what about the single player? Yeah, you can do it. Single player works, co-op works, like all that works.
Yep.
David Spencer asks, any chance we'll be enabling events like double harvest or higher percentage of crops? I guess.
Maybe. I'd have to check with other team members to know. Unfortunately, it's not a thing that I'm involved in a lot. Someone did ask earlier about whether we would increase rates on official servers across the board. I think that we probably are going to do an increase for gather rates on PvP servers. I mentioned in the last stream too that we made some changes to building health. I think that we backed out the changes to the tier 2 buildings, so they're not they're not stronger. But I think that we want to test the harvest rates first and see what kind of effects the harvest rates have on that dynamic, and then if we need to add more value to tier 2 because it's still too hard to get to tier 3 enough to engage in PvP a lot, then we'll keep going forward with it. One of those things that we want to monitor over time.
Mm-hmm. Someone asked, will the Battle Pass and all that work with mods? Like, I mean, yeah, technically as far as like what you can change, I guess, with modding tools can be affected by it, but it should be compatible. Like, the goal is to not break mods. And again, we're going to release the dev kit as early as possible, so mod makers will have time to update whatever they need to.
Yeah, you can't actually mod challenges themselves, so there's only so much you can do to have any kind of effect on the Battle Pass itself. We knew going into it that because we're a game that offers mods, server settings, you can edit innies, whatever. We knew people would try to get around it as much as we can, so we kind of just went in knowing that and accepting that as the way it would be. We've worked our system around it, our design around it. It's expected.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. So I see a couple people also asking like, will items in the Battle Pass be exclusive? So okay, when stuff that's available in the current Battle Pass, like once that Battle Pass is over, the current plan is it refreshes and whatever you could get from that Battle Pass would be exclusive to that Battle Pass. There might be some exceptions here and there, but like we're not. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the plans are in terms of like itemization for the next passes or whatever. But yeah, it'll refresh. You'll start a new Battle Pass, and then the stuff that was exclusive to the previous pass will remain exclusive to that pass.
And you can expect the other stuff to come back. So.
Oh yeah.
You were talking about the Bazaar item.
No, yeah. Some people were asking like once like a chapter, like once a Battle Pass season has finished, like will we like roll the items into the Bazaar, for example? And I believe the answer is no.
We're not going to. Sorry, I was reading chat and totally spaced out.
My bad. Yeah.
But no, we're not going to. We'll never sell the items from the Battle Pass in the Bazaar.
Yeah.
We do intend to sell modified versions of some of them. So if just looking at this, like say we think like this horse is really cool, right? We might make another version of the undead horse. It's probably not just a recolor. Like there's probably some topo changes or something.
Yeah, some extra geometry. Yeah.
Something that makes it different than this. So whoever has this, you did this in this battle pass. You still have that thing that's like, I was there, I did this. I can show it off, but we can still offer people an opportunity to get a version of that.
Yep. Yep, and obviously, yeah, like we understand some folks' concerns. Like I know the term FOMO has been thrown around a whole lot. It's like this kind of stuff is always tricky. It's a pretty, as far as I know, it's a fairly standard system in a lot of games that do offer like battle pass systems. And obviously, like, we're going to be paying attention to feedback, and if it's demanded enough, we can all consider changes. But that's what we're rolling with right now. Let's see. Oh, okay. And again, you have to keep in mind that these are not final, don't worry. Let's see. Okay. Looking at an FAQ right now.
Someone asked if the Watcher items were removed and put in the Battle Pass. No, they're not. I think the fact that you can't craft them is actually like it's an issue on our side. I'll follow up on it after this.
Mm-hmm. One other thing that has popped up in the past, I haven't seen it too much in chat, but I know it's come up before on other topics. With the new building system that we have coming out, including with you'll have new building piece options that you'll be able to get through the Bazaar or the Battle Pass. Will I be able to share building pieces with other folks? Because of the new building system, those pieces don't really exist anymore. Like, I guess technically you can spawn them in with admin panel. I don't know if that still works. I know you could, like, in an earlier build, but still, like, the intent is that it's all, like, contained within the new building system with the construction hammer that we have on screen right now. And then, yeah, like, you won't be share build. What's that screaming sound in the background? Hold on. Oh, that's probably, that's just ambient noise from the game. That's just, that's the Exiled Land. Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing we knew going into it with the building system, but seeing some people speculate wildly that, we first decided we didn't want people to share, and then we built a building system around it, but it's not the case. I mean, the building system itself is a huge quality of life improvement. It is night and day compared to the old building system, and we knew that you would lose that functionality, that ability to trade things with other people, but it feels worth the gain that you get from the building system being.
Yeah, and like some, there'll definitely be some like adjustment period, especially for folks who are like really hardcore power builders or like have a certain method of things. Like obviously, like some folks may feel that they're not, because you're not used to the new system, might feel a little bit like held back, but hopefully once you've had a chance to like play around with it some more, you'll find that it's actually quite, sorry, I'm seeing a blinking light on our camera. I'd have to check that in a second. But yeah, like once you get used to it, like it should be like pretty intuitive, and plus like the new system also eliminates the need to like pre-build like 100 foundations. So as long as you have the materials, you can just plop them down instantly without having to like wait around, like waiting for the things to craft. And then while you can't retrieve the building pieces anymore because they technically don't exist anymore, you do get a full refund now when you destroy building pieces, like when you just delete them with creative mode. I mean, we have creative mode enabled right now, so nothing costs resources at all. But if you don't have admin on and don't have creative mode on, you just plop down a wall and it takes the 15 stone or whatever it is, and then you get all that back if you destroy it.
Yeah, and it's on Test Live now, so solid Test Live client, go give it a try.
Yep, give it a try. Yeah, you should be able to like either there should just be a separate Test Live client, or I think you can also still access the Test Live branch. I think
That I'm not positive of.
Oh,
But
okay.
I do know the Test Live client
Is definitely active. Like,
definitely
yeah, Test Live should definitely be up. Yeah, maybe the branch thing was just a dev thing. Oh yeah, and you have to use the Test Live client itself. You can't play Test Live on the live client. Thanks. Really quick, yeah. Feel free to answer some questions in the chat. I need to check the camera really quick because I
Go
don't
for
know
it.
why it's blinking
Yeah.
like that. It might be unplugged. One second. Sorry, thanks.
Someone keeps asking greater hyena fix. I'm actually not aware of it, so I'll follow up right after this. Based on our release trajectory right now, it probably won't be fixed immediately, but I can figure out what it is and go through it right away.
Hi, hello. Thanks. Yeah, the camera got unplugged.
Oh, cool.
It was gonna run out of battery power. Thank goodness.
There's not a gifting option in the Bazaar. You cannot gift Crom coins, and Crom coins are the only way to purchase items in the Bazaar or the Battle Pass at the moment.
Yeah, the test is not available on consoles at this time.
There is a question about console stability fixes.
Mm-hmm.
There is an absurd amount of work that went into this update for both PC and consoles, and we optimize constantly. So with every release, stability should be increasing at this point rather than decreasing.
Mm-hmm.
Will existing thralls be hit with the nerf or just new ones? I think it should hit all of them retroactively. Whenever a server comes up, I think it checks the stats on the thrall at that time and would adjust.
Yeah, because I think what do we say? It's like folks can expect a pretty across the board nerfed thralls, and especially thrall HP, because there was that one guy that had like mountains of HP, and he still has tons of HP, but
He does still have a ton of HP, yeah.
yeah, but it's not like as wild as it was. And then yeah, there's the new authority perk or authority attribute, which helps you regain some of that power back. But the intent is to have it be about you and not about your army.
Yeah, no, I think that the authority, I have to double check it, but I think the authority attribute gives all of them.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So if you like playing with thralls now, and that's the main way you like to play, put points in that authority, and you're right back where you were when you started. There's the authority attribute.
Yeah, and you can see. Oh yeah, kind of obfuscated by this camera pane here, but
The last two are a perk that makes one follower stronger, or a perk that lets you have +1 follower. Which is interesting because depending on the type of follower you have now, you may be able to have different followers. Or zombie, or demon.
yeah, someone was just at Arc Addict Extreme asks, yeah, will this also affect any undead being might be able to summon?
Indeed.
Cool.
Yeah, thralls will turn back to current power. Power being damage, not power being health.
Okay, that's an important clarification.
Another interesting thing we did with them too is kind of blurred the line between a fighter and an archer in a bit of a way. So if you have an archer thrall now, they're absolutely miserable with melee. But in this update, a fighter can use a bow and be almost as good as an archer, and an archer can be use a melee weapon and be almost as good as.
Sweet. Someone asked, you can check the expertise as well.
Yep.
Yeah, so, and yeah, for those of you that hadn't had a chance to see like all the updates so far, we are also revamping the attribute system. We're streamlining it a bunch and making it more like easier to understand. So, for example, you get one attribute point per level, just a straight 1-to-1 conversion instead of like what was it, like 390 points, level 60 or something like that. I forget.
Yeah, 60 levels, 60 points. It's really easy to plan out what you can do now.
Yeah, and then we've also squished the amount of points that you need to like be able to max out an attribute. So now you just need, I believe, 20 per attribute to max it out. Yeah, which also means that you can actually max out 3 entire attributes if you really wanted to as well. You can get 20 in all of them.
On top of that, at level 10 and 20, you get a choice between perks. Mm-hmm. So those ones that have a red and green background, once you hit that level, you get to decide which of those 2 things you want. And on top of that, if you're a really evil guy, you can corrupt your attributes too, which wipes the whole thing clean and replaces it with a new set of powerful perks.
Yep. completely different. Yeah, completely different perks if you want to corrupt your attributes, and then that also adds a permanent corruption effect on your character that cannot be removed with like dancers or anything like that. And that ties into corrupt.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? And that ties into sorcery as well.
Oops. Oh. Yeah. Okay, so say I'm an evil guy, really.
You're so evil.
You can see my health bar now, so let me just make myself really evil real quick. Oh, that's the wrong energy. 1 0.
You're just so hot.
0 1000. Yeah, I'm super hot. Okay, so now I'm really evil. You can tell because I'm really corrupted. And in order to get this corrupted, I sacrificed a lot of souls. Whenever you sacrifice someone, you can bring a thrall to the sacrificial stone. And I'm not in creative mode, so I can't see the recipe. But there's a recipe to drain their soul, which catches it in a bottle. It actually gives you 5 souls. So we found that when it was 1 soul, it was very punishing to have to capture 20 guys and drain their souls to be able to corrupt your attributes. So, we bumped it up to 5. And now that I have the soul essence, because I drained some souls, and I've got the attribute points to spend, say, I'm all into authority. I want to subjugate people super hard. Now, whenever I go through, I spent all these points in it. I can corrupt my attributes now. You can see because I have maximum corruption, these buttons to corrupt some specific attributes. The third one is vitality. How many points? Right now, it's just these 3 attributes, and I can consume those soul essence, which is showing up here in the top right, to corrupt my attributes. And now that I've corrupted this one, it's replaced the perk that was there before. And now my followers do more damage whenever I deal damage.
Yeah, and then it scales based on how corrupted your authority perk or attribute is also. That's a common theme with a lot of the corrupted attributes, is that it scales based on, like, different scaling based on how much corrupt. Sorry.
Yeah, that's how we went with all the first tier perks. Because it really just means the more you corrupt your body, the more power you get out of it. So here's another one where you get passive health regen, and the more you corrupt this vitality perk, the stronger that regen is.
Well, says the sorry. Let me shrink this window just really quick, so you guys can. There.
Yeah, you couldn't see the soul essence.
Yeah, because of the thing in the corner. Yeah.
So, and then I guess I can just show corrupted strength.
Yeah, don't mind our 100,000 crown coins that Venice gifted me. I'm rich! Woo! Thanks! Not gifted, sorry, you just added it through the admin tool.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, this one's damage scaling, regen scaling, and follower damage scaling. And, you know, the cool thing with this is, at what point do I stop corrupting it? You know, at what point...
You're out of soul
I guess when I run out of soul essence, but at what point do I say, hey, these perks are more valuable to me than this additional damage, right? I think there's the biggest thing with this is we wanted to have a lot of variety in builds and a lot of choices and options for people to play the way they want to play things, and, you know, pick things that matter. When you look at the old attribute system, there was a lot of stuff in there that's like, okay, well, I take it because I have to, not because I want it. So adding choice and adding cool things like this. And one thing that I talked about earlier is, you know, this ability to corrupt things is the system that we made is contextualized. So I think the example I used last time was if we wanted to add like some kind of like Harkonian archery training system or something, you could go somewhere on the map and get trained by a Harkonian archer, and it would unlock the ability to, you know, corrupt your agility stat, but it would really just be like training, like agility training. It makes you really good with bows or something like that. I can show you agility. Agility doesn't have a corrupted stat. The only 3 there are strength, vitality, and authority.
Thank you. Yeah, so okay. Can you sacrifice players' bodies or only thralls?
Only thralls.
Like NPCs?
Yeah. Only thralls that you knock out unconscious. So you still can't drag another player around.
Yeah, and they have to be unconscious. You can't drag a dead body.
That's right.
Sacrificing, yeah. They have to be alive so you can drain their blood or take their soul.
Yep, blood's got to be warm.
Yep. Same with the shallow grave, right? It still needs to be an alive, or an unconscious NPC and not a dead one.
Yeah, it works similar to Wheels of Pain, where when you drag them in, it makes them an item in the inventory. So we need them to be alive so we can get that item from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
More than 2 followers in the future. Well, depending on which kind of followers you have, you'll be able to have more than 2 followers in 3.0 in the Age of Sorcery.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can show you guys the grave. Let me just also do this real quick. Okay, I have max authority, crunching. Binding. Normie keyboard. Control button's where it's supposed to be.
Oh, so what's gonna happen to like existing followers and thralls once the update goes live? Like ones that you already have placed out and stuff like that. Well, I'm assuming the NPCs themselves won't be affected, just their stats, right? Or are we gonna be like, I don't, you know?
Everything should remain as
Yeah.
you left it when you logged out. So when you come back in, the game should be exactly the same.
Yeah, so it's like we're not. Yeah, it's a big revamp to their stats, but like yeah, anything that you have placed out there like shouldn't be affected. I'm reading off a forum question from Chaos Raven 7712.
Alright, so there's a guy in the sacrificial pit.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Let me have to turn creative mode back on with some recipes that I didn't.
Oh, nice. In the meantime, I'm looking through the forum stuff also. Urjo, who I've also seen in chat here, is asking about the Witch Doctor feat, and if that will experience any changes with the addition of Sorcery.
Yeah, I removed it.
Okay.
So it'll be gone. We left everything in there, so all of the follower, all of
Sorry, Urjo.
all of the follower data table rows and everything are all still there, but you won't be able to go to the capital city, learn that again, and keep making those guys. The reason is we wanted to go forward with certain paradigms for undead followers, and the existing Witch Doctor followers didn't fit those paradigms. So we pulled them out, but left them in a state that a modder could put them back in if they wanted to. So for everyone on console, it'll be gone as is, but as we add more to Sorcery, we're going to continue to add more stuff to Sorcery. It's not just going to be, here's Sorcery and that's what you get, It's a thing that we want to keep in our pocket to be able to add content to. So we can add some more of that stuff back, but it needs to follow the rules that the rest of the Sorcery stuff follows.
Ariel. A couple people that are sad.
I understand.
Yeah. Thanks, Urjo.
Oh, we need a vote for whether you guys want me to drain this guy's blood or his soul.
Let's hear it in chat. Do you want blood or soul? Both.
I can only
do one. Yeah, you can only do one at a time. It eats the body otherwise.
Okay.
Soul, blood.
Well, we'll do blood first.
Blood for the blood dot, etc.
There's a lot of blood requests.
Eat your cornflakes, folks.
This is an example of a ritual. This is one of the new types of, crafting recipe.
There we go. Go pops.
What?
Whoops! Here we go, murdering again. Let's see. Oh, while we're looking through, oh my god, it's going so fast. Can you comment on exactly how severe the thrall HP nerf might be?
I wish I could remember. I have vacation brain, so some stuff has left it, but I think that thralls have like half or around half the health they had before, if I remember right. But yeah,
I have Slack open on this computer.
Health is the biggest thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. I'm looking through Slack right now. If anyone knows the exact amount that's watching at the office, let us know. Can we see how Zombies Decay?
Yeah, kind of. You can let me.
Yeah. Is there a way to I forget. Do we have a timescale command or anything like that to accelerate the decay process?
It would be hard to see, but what I can do is cast a spell.
Okay, gotcha.
Need to make sure I actually put free agent. So, for those of you who haven't seen it, this is the casting system.
Ooh, this is a spell we haven't shown off yet, isn't it?
Yeah, I turned the fog off just so we could see the zombies come up. Well, I think we have shown it off, but this is just for the sake of actually seeing the zombies themselves.
Yeah, maybe we have shown it off in like a trailer, but I think when we wanted to show it off on the last stream, or one of the last videos we did, it wasn't like quite working the way we wanted to, I think. So I think I avoided taking any footage of it because it wasn't quite working.
I think it might not be working.
Okay,
now,
well
so.
then, good decision.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, there they are.
Oh, nice. Hell yeah.
I thought that was a health bar flashing on my screen.
Oh, that's funny.
Work in progress.
That's really funny. Oh, that's so good.
So yeah, here's a bunch of zombies. And I'll just speed up time a bit so we can maybe see their skin kind of rot away.
That was a spell that summons a bunch of zombies. But in this case, yeah, you can see they spawned a little rock. This is an internal dev build. Obviously, there's still going to be issues on our end, too. So. Yeah, so spellcasting is a little bit of a long process, so that's kind of to counteract a lot of the control and power that they bring to like a combat scenario, and also kind of our way of reducing any kind of expandability. You want to plan ahead, and also sort of like almost like a cooldown in a way too. Like again, yeah, it's to prevent spamming and ask you to plan your sorceries ahead of time. Like, yeah.
You have to be really considerate about it. A sorcerer in Howard's universe is someone who is not in the thick of combat throwing spells at people, right? Like everything they do is ritualistic and premeditated. So we want the same for our system in the game. Like we want you to be very selective about when you use sorcery, and you'll see that almost all of sorcery is not combat oriented. Mm-hmm. It's almost exclusively utilitarian spells. So we don't necessarily want you to think that if someone's hitting you with a sword, you should be able to cast a spell and defend yourself. There may be some spells where there are scenarios that you find windows of opportunity to use them, but it's not just going to be, I stand here, I cast spells, and that's how I win in combat, is casting spells.
Yeah, one of the big goals was to avoid, like, we deliberately designed the sorcery system to not be like I've used this term a lot, but yeah, we don't want you to be like a walking artillery unit as seen in a lot of like more high fantasy games with magic, which is even a departure from our MMO Age of Conan. All those sorceries are based around control and utility, and so either creating new pathways or ways to navigate existing terrain, or kind of like making like a don't come here kind of zone, for example, rather than like, yeah, you're not going to be throwing just like nukes at people or anything like that. You're not going to be spamming lightning bolts. You're not going to be spamming fireballs. Nothing like that exists in the current system. And of course, someone's asking for the Herald of Zlotley.
You have no idea how often that gets pitched internally.
I mean, I love the Hawks. We all love the Hawks.
When we set out to start Zath, one of the big contenders for a new religion was Zlotley. We have the Dagon dungeon stuff, so kind of some crossover.
You have a friend.
Yeah. I'm going to put him over here and let him rot. I see it turn in. Did it change genders when I was placing?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, yeah. Kind of on that note, someone also asked, will the spellcasting audio differ based on your character's voice? I don't know if it changes between every voice style, but I know it changes between like male and female characters.
Yeah, it's meant to be gendered.
Yep.
And it's not really... A lot of it is that it's not really supposed to sound like your character. It's a sort of like demonic, ancient language you're speaking, so it's kind of supposed to sound a little more guttural and nasty than your normal voice would.
Yeah. Like you're invoking these like very otherworldly, unholy words of power. So it's almost it's like like you're projecting a voice.
Yeah.
From our
right, the voice.
from our friends over in Arrakis. Yeah, thanks for those questions. Let's see. I'm going over a couple more form-related or form questions here. Jay Kerman on the forums asks, any chance you'll change the name Battle Pass? Now we're gonna go with that. It's like it's pretty clear and to the point. I do understand it's like we do want to keep it like within like the context of the lore as much as possible, but I think Battle Pass kind of sums it up pretty well.
Yeah, that's a conversation we had. You know, I those of you who know Joel, I talked with him about it specifically, and he was like, I think Battle Pass hits the nail on the head. You know, but battle's very common in Conan, so we just stuck with it, and it helps people identify what it is a lot easier. Like if you know what a Battle Pass is in Warzone, you know what a Battle Pass is in Exile.
Yeah, like we kind of have to strike a balance between like immersion versus like, you know, ultimately
understand user experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like ultimately, it's a video game that average folks are going to be interacting with, so like we don't want to confuse anyone as much as possible. Like, kind of, you know, that's why it's named the Bazaar officially, like the Black Lotus Bazaar instead of the shop or whatever, just because we wanted to kind of, well, we wanted to do our best to tie it into the existing world as much as possible, but in some cases, the word Battle Pass suffices. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Wait, someone was asking, will we have unlockable titles that you can display under your name?
No,
through Battle Pass?
not at the moment. People ask for it a lot. It might happen, but there's no plans to do it at this point. Having titles doesn't feel really fitting for Exiles specifically to me. But you know, it's always an ongoing conversation.
Cool. General gameplay questions. Are there any chances for future ages and chapters to introduce new dynamic map events to encourage group activity and social play?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah, it's part of what we're going for here for sure. Like, you're not going to see it in season 1, chapter 1, you know, or you know, the first chapter of Age of Sorcery. But as we go through the chapters, you should expect to see changes to the world, and you will see things happening as time goes on.
Yep. Like there is a narrative that we're telling through the Battle Pass as well. In fact, you can see. Actually, can you open the Battle Pass really quick? If you look in the top left corner of the Battle Pass, you'll see a bunch of like garbled language there. As you unlock additional rewards and progress through the Battle Pass, you can see it becomes more clear, and so you'll get some like hints of like what the heck is going on in the exiled land through these like little hints. And that each page has its own like little bit of text, and then that's a trend that will hopefully continue. Have additional chapters in it. Again, that was another question from Jay Kierman on forum. Their last question was more about, hey, can we get some like ruined style building?
Sure.
Building styles, yeah, like stuff
Why
that's
not?
Pre-destroyed, yeah, like they add a little bit of
Sounds cool to me.
grit, yeah, why not?
The whole universe is built on ruins, so
Yeah.
why not make ruins?
Yeah, great idea, thanks. I don't know if they're watching. And so folks are asking, when is this coming out? This is available on Test Live on PC right now, and the official launch, we're still sticking to quarter 3, 2022, just because, a lot of stuff still needs to get done, and we don't want to commit to a date until we're like absolutely certain. And even then, like things can change. So, what are the stats for the zombie?
Zombie stats are derived from the thrall that you put into the grave. So if you put a weak fighter in, you get a weak zombie out. If you put a strong fighter in, you get a strong zombie out. One of the benefits of zombies is even though they're temporary, they spawn at level 20. So they're all perked out as soon as they come out of the grave.
Sweet.
Yep. Yeah, the perks are also randomized on the zombie.
Sorry, just going over, looking for forum stuff. Well, how long do zombies actually last?
I don't want to give a number on that right now because I'm not 100% confident of it. We've went through some iteration with it, but they're going to last some time, like they probably upwards of a couple days, just so every time you log in, you don't need to go farm more zombies if you want to play as a sorcerer.
Cool. Jora Jordani asks, this is something we've mentioned also, so some of our more astute players may notice that the bracelet that your character wears doesn't have to be removed in order to be able to utilize sorcery. That is intended, and there's a reason for that. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
So no, you don't need to. Yeah, so you don't need to take the bracelet. So mechanically, you don't have to go through any like major hoops in order to start using sorcery. There's like a small like breadcrumb quest basically to get you started on it. But yeah, there's no like other major prerequisites or anything like that. Like you don't need to complete the story or whatever. You don't need to be part of any religion. Yeah, you can. It's intentionally decoupled from any of that.
Yeah, I probably don't want to go through it and show you guys specifically, just so it doesn't ruin the experience for you. You know, like whenever we spend all this time working on games, like I don't really just want to come on stream and play the game for you to see it, or else it's not as exciting when you see it. But the intent is that you stumble into sorcery, you find indications that it's in the world, and you will find those indications as long as you're playing the game normally. And you'll get a little low-key quest, basically. And you follow the breadcrumbs, you unlock the power, more information's fed to you, there's stuff to find in the world to tell you more about sorcery. It's cool.
Yeah, part of the fun is the discovery also, so we don't want to lay everything out here. And then there's not everything is spelled out for you in the game either. I know some folks were asking like, hey, like, will we be able to see what the corrupted perks do once we corrupt our attributes? And that is, I believe, intentionally obfuscated.
Yeah.
Kind of to promote like thematically, like the idea of like meddling with corruption is like you are quite literally like meddling with forces beyond your like comprehension kind of. And so like we wanted to push the sense of like, oh, you're experimenting with this like new power that you're only just like you're unfamiliar with as a character and as a player, and just like discovering things as you go along. And I'm sure folks will have it up on a wiki or like somewhere within two minutes, I'm sure. But
yeah,
for those of you who are not, sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say that doesn't mean we should take away the experience from people that don't want to look it up.
Exactly. Yeah. For those of folks who like are really insistent or on not looking up wiki stuff or just aren't as plugged in and not it's extremely online like a lot of folks are. Yeah, they get that sense of discovery like on their own.
A couple questions from chat.
Yeah.
Eldowin asked if SIPTA and Exiled Lands would have the same amount of sorcery content. Yeah, it should be basically the same. The content added for sorcery, and I'm using air quotes because it's not a major modification to the game as it is now, but there will be sorcerers in the world, essentially going on little missions to spread the word of sorcery, and as you encounter them, they'll be the addition to the content that's there. We've added them to camps in SIPTA and camps in Exiled Lands, and you get the same spells in both maps, so there's no differentiation.
Yeah. One of the important things, especially for those who play on SIPTA, is that yes, there's no limitation on sorcery on SIPTA compared to Exiled Lands, and that also means like the capstone thing that you get while progressing sorcery. I believe at the time I checked, at least, was the whole portal thing. That is something that you can also get on SIPTA, which is big because there's no obelisks like that on SIPTA. So
yep,
you'll be able to create your own fast travel network of sorts, even on SIPTA. Well, actually, yeah, some folks were definitely like wondering or worried about how the portals will work, especially like in terms of like base rating and just like how that works. If we can go over kind of the points of exactly how that works, I think that would help.
Yeah,
because I know there's like a debuff and stuff like that too that you get after using it. I think there's a blocker too, like a short one, so you can't just like spam teleports or whatever.
There is, yeah.
Please explain. Sorry.
It's pretty straightforward. In the last stream, I talked about how we had the idea to have these basically two different versions of the network. I think that when we launch, there will just be the one. So when a clan builds a teleporter pad, it can interact with the clan's teleporter pads, the other ones. Anyone that enters one of those pads can teleport to another one of the connected pads. So the clan establishes the network. But even if you're not in the clan, you can use the pad. 1 second, sorry. It feels like there's like a tiny piece of corn, like popcorn.
I know that feeling too. Yeah.
So, if you are in an opposing clan and you find a base where a clan has set up a teleporter pad, you can step on their teleporter pad as long as it's ignited. So whenever I place the pad down, you see I still have to ignite the pad. So I have to sacrifice some people, put some brimstone in as well, and then I can turn it on. As long as that's on, anyone that steps in it can interact with it and use the clan's other teleporters to move. After you teleport, you will get a debuff. And there's actually kind of two debuffs. One prevents you from teleporting again for a period of time. And I believe it's it's at least a minute. It might be 2 minutes. And the other one prevents you from losing corruption. So whenever you teleport, you gain corruption. And that amount of corruption scales based on how far you teleport. You could think of the demonic portals as literally like a hell wormhole. So you're like traveling through, this underworld to get from point A to point B. And the further you go, the more corruption you gain. You can't remove the corruption until a certain period of time passes. So there are two really big downsides to using a teleporter, especially during raid time. If you have the time to not engage with people and not fight, it's fine. But yeah, you make teleporter networks for your clan. Anyone can use them as long as they're turned on.
Yeah, so if people like barge into your base, like they can, like if you try to escape through a portal, and like you have enemies in your base, like they can follow you through the portal. Granted, they would still have the same debuffs, but like
so they would be stuck if they follow you, and you've got 8 guys waiting on the other side. They can't just go back into it and teleport back away.
Yeah, and also I believe I don't know if this changed, but I think also the debuff also stacks with your existing corruption, can actually put you past the maximum 50% one.
It can't change. Okay. No, whenever we started developing Sorcery, we were gonna increase the corruption cap and say, hey, you could like fully corrupt yourself down to 1 hit point. But as we tested it, it became very unplay. Like it didn't make sense.
It was just unfun. Yeah.
It was hard, so we just kept it the way it was.
Okay, gotcha.
So if you ever see like 100% corruption, that means 50% of your health.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, the last time I messed around with it, like using a demonic portal, like could put you past like 50%, but I guess that wasn't. The portals have been kind of like weird for a while now, so they're still kind of weird. I think
it could actually be a result of that unremovable.
Yeah. Like I thought it was just like the temporary corruption debuff that you get for using a portal can stack up to past 50%. I don't know if that was.
Let's test it.
Sure. Oh, is there a limit to how many demonic portals like you as an individual or a clan can have active at any one time, or built at any one time in a network?
There is not. What you'll see though is the more you build, the harder they get to use, or the harder they become to use. We represent in real, like in 3D space, where the other portals are in the world. So the more you build, the more stones appear in the air, and you'll get to a point where you just don't want to make more.
Yeah.
And you don't even need that many. There's also building exclusion blockers like we have on the religious altars, so you can only put one a certain distance from another. I'm marking my stuff here.
Someone also had a good question about the building system. So what happens to existing building pieces that were like already in your inventory, or say like in a box somewhere once the patch hits?
Good question. I actually don't remember.
Okay.
I know at one point we talked about keeping the entire separate second building system intact, but I don't know if that actually happened, because at some point we did kind of all in and say like this is the good building. So I don't know right now. I also vaguely remember talking about converting those building pieces back to resources, so that might be what happens. Don't quote me.
Okay. TBA.
So now that I've got 2 portals activated, you can see where the other portal is in the world.
Yeah, and that's relative to like the direction that the portal would take you, right? Or is that?
It is, yeah.
Okay. What's the term for that? It starts with the diegetic or something like that. Is that what the term? Okay. Like, yeah, one of the goals with like both demonic portals and also the spellcasting system entirely was to have more like an in-world and the term diegetic interface rather than just having like a wheel or like some artificial pop-up outside of the game just show up in front of you.
Yeah,
like, obviously still.
This is going to be the case for everything that we do going forward in Exiles, and even in the past, actually. Sometimes we need to use user interface to communicate things, but we try to avoid it as much as we can. So now that I've got this, I'll teleport, and we'll see where my corruption goes. So yeah, it does look like it exceeded that amount, which is actually cool. I like that a lot, so let's keep it.
Cool.
And you can see now I have this Tainted Debuff. I can't teleport again. I can't even see the other stone pop up. Oh, there it is. So now if I try to move, it won't let me teleport back to. Oh, sorry. Tainted is the one that has me my increased what's it called? Corruption. And demonic energies is the one that won't let you teleport. We'll probably increase the amount of time on demonic energy because it seems.
Yeah, and the perilous journey to my mother's house. Lots of corruption there. It's in Cary, so lots of corruption there.
Corrupted.
Oh yeah, for sure. Can you take a friend through the teleport?
No. Well, they can take themselves.
Yeah.
You have to opt into it. You can't say I'm teleporting now. Everyone on the pad goes with me. It's just individual interactions.
Now, if you're in co-op and have that tether, I think it'll just pull you to the location.
Technically true, yes.
Yeah. But outside of that, yeah, it's every individual uses the portal on their own.
Yeah, thralls do come with you.
Oh yeah, I found a fun interaction that I tried at TwitchCon was what happens if you slow fall while you have a thrall attached to you. And it turns out that the thrall also gains weightlessness, and like the body just like ragdolls and floats around like a balloon until it wears off, and then they just like they don't die though.
There's a lot of cool interactions with spells and gameplay.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be one of the cool things that you guys can explore a lot. Is like, what happens if I use this spell and this spell, right?
You die if you keep teleporting. I assume not. Like you can reach up like. Maybe you can theoretically hit 100% with your purple bar, but I think you still have like 1 HP. Maybe. I don't know.
Let's just test it.
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
Live.
Is there a way to remove the corrupted perks without resetting with a Yellow Lotus potion?
No. Well, Yellow Lotus or Bestial Memory should reset.
Memory, that's right. That was the other.
Should reset it.
That was another question that came up too. Like, how do you what happens? Like, how do I, if I wanted to change my mind about my corrupted stats, like, how do I do that? And I think the only answer to that is full reset.
Yep. Yeah. At one point, I also wanted to ask people to do like a ritual as well, to be able to remove the corruption, but in favor of not making you hate your life,
right?
Just figured we'll just wipe it with the potions.
And so, artist tech. A dancer and such does still remove corruption. However, when you start corrupting your attributes, that also adds a permanent corruption debuff to your character that cannot be removed even with dancers or other external methods of removing corruption until you reset your attribute. So yes, you can have a dancer nearby and remove corruption. However, yeah, if you have corrupted perks, it won't go past a certain threshold of corruption. And so no, it would not remove your perks. Sorry.
I ran out of stamina really fast with 1 stamina.
You have 3 HP and 1 stamina. Nice.
Not a very strong boy right now.
No, does it? Is it even regenerating? Are you just permanently out of stamina? Nice. Hell yeah. 99 stacks of Tainted. Hell yeah. Well, I guess that answers that. So I guess you can't die, but it's functionally unplayable. You're like that.
If anyone looks at me, I die.
Yeah. Stiff breeze will knock you down. And again, so also, yeah, this is why we don't want to be able to turn your entire bar purple, because yeah, you would just fall over with a leaf hitting you or something.
What is creative mode? Wow, I'm glad you asked. So creative mode is a way for you to just be able to build and not have to have resources or not have to worry about enemies attacking you. So if I enter creative mode, here's a little tooltip. Allows you to build easily without being impaired by survival mechanics. It doesn't affect your progression at all, and exiting it reverts you back to the state you were in before entering. You can double tap jump to toggle flying. So when you enter creative mode, you'll get a construction hammer, and you can build anything that you have the rights to build. So if I didn't have the Nemedian DLC, I wouldn't be able to build Nemedian buildings. It just wouldn't appear in this list. But everything else that I have that I own, I can build. And you can see there's an infinity symbol on them. This means you can build them forever with no resource cost. And like it said, I can double tap jump to fly. And that'll toggle fly on and off, so you can get different angles on stuff. And one of the coolest things, like my favorite thing about the new building system in general, is if I build some walls and I'm like, oh, okay, I place these walls down and now I need more foundations. I can just look at this, press middle mouse, and I'm building more foundations immediately. So it's super fast to switch between the things that you're currently building with and the things that you've already built, placed out.
Yeah, and again, even if you don't have creative mode on, like, all it does now is takes your resources as long as you have them to plop down the building piece, so you don't have to, like, you don't have to spend 10 minutes crafting, again, 100 walls and 100 foundations to plop down.
Yeah, you can see creative mode also hid my health bar and my stamina bar. That's just to reinforce the fact that you don't need to worry about it. Your health isn't going to go down. God mode gets turned on. You don't lose stamina. NPCs can't see you. So stuff won't even attack you when you're in creative mode. And when you turn it off, you're right back where you were before. So if you didn't know how to construct all the stuff in the game, you don't have those recipes stuck on you. Your character's its state is saved.
Let's see. Does middle mouse button work in survive, like in just regular mode as well? I think
It does.
Yeah, that's just a function of the
Building system. Yeah, that's part of the construction hammer itself.
And then, this came up during our stream at TwitchCon also, but I believe you can still use first-person mode with the construction hammer out. You just have to go to first-person mode first, and then you can pull the hammer out in case you want to do, like, fine-tune your stuff. I know that was important to some people. So, and then, all the controls are the same, except you're just in first-person. So if you need to float around and, like, do some fine decorations, you can. I have seen a bunch of comments in chat about a wish to add a search function in the building system. I will also back that up. I would like to see.
Yeah, we'll probably wind up adding it. It's not going to be in there at launch, but enough people have said it at this point that it probably needs to be there. I know that some people have pain navigating like these larger menus.
Yeah, especially with the decorations and such like that too.
Find exactly what you're looking for.
we have so many, like, we can already see, like, if someone has a ton of the DLCs and such like that. Yeah, like, there's just a lot.
Like, which note do I want?
Yeah. So,
all the same icon.
Yeah, some kind of filter would be greatly appreciated. But again, so won't be in for launch, but hopefully you can get it.
Like my sweet convention.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah! I didn't even notice. Nice. I didn't have any. I haven't done my laundry since Amsterdam yet, so it's still in my suitcase actually on the floor. How it works. Let's see. Just going through some more chat stuff. Those creative. Something also people asked. So, is there a way to pick and choose who has creative mode active, or is it just anyone can enter creative mode as long as they have the admin password or have admin access on the server?
Yeah, you can't give it to specific people, but you can. Anyone who has admin can use it anytime. We also added creative mode servers, so if you enable that on the server, anyone can enter creative mode on that server without having the admin password. I believe we also added it to the server browser to show if it's a creative server.
Oh, cool. Nice. How will this build mode work on Xbox? Exactly as you see here, it's actually kind of like
built for it.
It's like made for gamepads, yeah.
Yeah, it works great for both. Don't get me wrong, but the biggest reason we went into this was because there are so many people playing with controllers, and building was so bad with controllers. But it really does benefit everybody. I also saw someone ask if it works in single player, but yeah, it does. Creative mode works in single player. You just have to turn admin on, which you can do if you go to settings, server settings. If you're playing single player, all you have to do is hit this button, make me admin, and then creative mode will appear.
Any plans for keyboard support for consoles in the future? I mean, I think that's something we wanted to do, but I think that's actually something that console platform thingy, like actual, like Sony and Microsoft don't like.
Yeah, that's not on my radar.
Yeah, as far as, well, okay, I won't say anything to be misquoted because I don't want Microsoft and Sony getting on my ass, but I believe it's actually on their end whether or not they want that. I think it has to do with like evening the playing field.
Yeah,
like
we can figure it out. Yeah,
console versus, or like the
I've
keyboard
honestly never
being
looked
that.
into it.
That's what I thought. It could be like a publishing issue, but I could be wrong. So anyway, sorry, don't. Microsoft and Sony, love you. Oh, Xbox already does. Okay, maybe it's Sony then that doesn't like that. I don't know. My face is a publishing issue. Yes, thanks, Chris. Ball's been a problem. Let's see. Sorry, just looking for more chat stuff. What about stuff you cannot make with recipes like mod items with a SIP statue? Oh, like for like placement, like.
Oh yeah,
like
I think they're all in the building menu now.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Here's the devolved harpy statue. There. Sweet. We just took a lot of stuff and crammed it into this menu, basically. Statues, totems, trophies, blah 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 blah. You name it. If it's in the game, it's in there.
Is Bazaar and Battle Pass active on the test server? No, it is not. That is a side effect of, we don't want you spending actual money on this test thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just a side effect of, we wanted to, but it because of the way it's set up. On our account system and the way it works and such. Like, unfortunately not. Can I get test on the Game Pass version? That's a good question. Is Test Life only available for Steam users, or can like Epic Game Store people or like
As far as I know, it's only on the Test Live client on Steam.
Okay. Thanks. Can we show off the last few pages of the Battle Pass?
Okay.
Up to you. Cool.
How many is I guess 3 is you.
Will building mods need to be updated to use the building hammer with like modded building items? Will that be off?
I think they do need to be updated, but we also built it with modders in mind, so it should be very easy to append your buildings to the hammer. Oh yeah, this bookcase is sick.
Oh hell yeah!
This was the thing that when I saw this was one of the first things we made for the Battle Pass, and I was like, oh yeah, sorcery is real. This is awesome.
Yeah, a lot of the costumes and the architecture we built for this Battle Pass and for this age or season. A lot of it is inspired by the Acaronian society, or like the peoples of Hyboria. I'm actually working on like a little behind the scenes video of like going into the art process, which I'll put out as soon as I can. But we pulled a lot of inspiration actually from Age of Conan, or inspiration on like the Acaronian kind of motifs and the styles they use. I pulled a lot from like Aztec and Mayan societies, and then also of course like drawing upon Robert E. Howard's books and the descriptions provided of Acaronian society as well. So yeah, a lot of it is centered around the Acaronian, and I think it looks rad. I think the art team did a really awesome job realizing that society and making some cool stuff.
Our 2 biggest choices when it comes to sorcery are Acaronians and Stygians, essentially. So, we had some Acaronian themed stuff, and there's a lot of, there's some Acaronian-oriented lore and things in exiled lands that made it a good fit.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Yeah, it's not a skin, you get the actual recipe, that's right. So you do learn to make a set of armor whenever you use it, and then once you learn to make a set of armor, you can bring it over to the bench that's not at Andy's mom's. It is at Andy's mom's. Go back to Andy's mom's house real quick.
Thanks, Mom.
And then if anyone hasn't seen the illusion system, this is the Thalmaturgy Bench. This is one of the first things you learn with sorcery. And you can take any item and combine it with another item that currently you have to know how to make them, but we'll see if that changes. And then it'll apply an illusion to an item. So you can take the appearance from one and put it on the stats of another.
But again, it's all the rewards from the battle pass, as well as anything you get from the Bazaar, are by and large all cosmetic options. Yeah, there's unique stats or greater stats for getting something from either the battle pass or the Bazaar.
Switch up my fit.
So this person's been asking a bunch in chat. Diego BS, why can't we get a demon spider pet? I guess there's no reason we can't, I suppose, but I don't.
Yeah.
You can get the scorpion and the reaper queen, but not a demon spider. Sorry, Lucky Jill MC. No, by and large, it's a universal thing. Like, we're not selling power. We're not going to be giving rewards that increase power. Like I said earlier in the stream, like all the armor and all the weapons you might get from either place are going to be pretty much exactly like any of the DLC items that we've had. So you'll get, like, in the example of like a weapon, like you'll probably just get like an iron level, like low tier version of the weapon, and then like a star metal tier of the weapon for like, yeah, later game. And then we have the illusion system also if you want to append the appearance to another weapon. But yeah, we're not giving you like special unique weapons that are exclusive to the battle pass or the Bazaar.
Yeah, it's super intentional.
Yeah. Like we're not going to do that. So
yeah, they're exactly like Andy said. They're meant to match the old DLC system where you get an iron version and a epic version as well. We never want people to be able to spend money and beat other people into the ground because they spent money.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. So yeah, I didn't mean to worry you or whatever. All right, let me roll up Lucky Joe over on YouTube. Illusion system will work with mods, right? Should. Why it wouldn't?
Yep.
More chat stuff. Sorry. Lulz chat. How much is the battle pass? It's 1,200 crown coins, which is I think is $10 US. Flat $10.
Roughly,
yeah. I mean, like, that's $10 US. It'll be adjusted. Whatever purchase you make will be, of course, adjusted to whatever region you're in. Yeah, it's $10 for the battle pass, and then you get all the crown points back by you can then use by the next battle pass. Let's see. Plans on changes on the original map. What point?
the battle pass, really, I should say, ages. So, completely divorced from monetization, but ages will bring along a story with them, and you will see some changes develop in the map over time. There are other, modern contemporaries you can look at that have similar things happening where as their story evolves, the world changes a bit with it as well. There are some restrictions that apply to us when it comes to that. Like, we don't want to crater the place where your base is built, kind of thing. So we can only change the world in certain places, but when we do, there will be times we'd like to see some spectacle in the world that you haven't seen before.
Oh yeah. So I'm just going through some of our friends over here in the studio and abroad are posting stuff in Slack as well. Any chance that we can see an ability to have clans ally? It's an interesting suggestion.
Yeah, I've thought about things like this before. Well, we don't have any plans for it right now. Plans in general, there's a lot to say about them. It's a pretty complex subject. So there's really not going to be any changes at the moment. Another thing I just remembered someone asked is if you have to be level 60 to start sorcery or if you can get it earlier. Theoretically, if you had a friend that had everything you needed for sorcery, you could be level 1 and learn all the spells. So there's no level gating, but there is a cost to gain more power, and it typically comes in the form of certain items. So if you don't have the means to get certain items, you won't have the means to advance your sorcerer's power.
Yeah, upgrading your repertoire, I guess, does take resources and time as well. So like, yeah, you're not gonna without using admin stuff, like you're not gonna just like become an extremely powerful sorcerer instantly.
Yeah,
You have to crawl before you know how to walk, and so on.
casting spells is somewhat similar. If you see here, as I select the spell to cast, there's an item attached to it that says I have to have this item. If I don't have it, it'll throw the name under there and tell me what the item is. But I do have one, so I can cast that spell. But if I didn't have the means to make that item, then I wouldn't be able to cast spells either. And that's really like the reagents needed to cast spells ties back into the grounded, like realistic, ritualistic feeling of sorcery in this universe, and it's also a way to get us to have you explore the world more, to get out there and engage with the world as a sorcerer.
Oh, once. Let's see.
Probably.
Sorry, just more stuff. I think we've touched on a lot of stuff though. Like, hopefully talking about this stuff has helped allay some concerns. I know. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, there's always going to be a lot of anxiety about like big changes, especially with monetization, and so like. Yeah. Again, hopefully once you guys actually like get your hands on it and can play around, hopefully some of that anxiety will be paid. Obviously, we also know that we can't please everyone.
Dreamy Day asks if the event system is limited to certain places. Are there markers that can be turned on to find them, and can server admins turn those off? The event system does run events that are in pre-placed locations, so you have to have a content designer go and actually lay that content out in the world and say, this is where this takes place, and you might put it in multiple places, but yeah, server owner can opt to turn those off. I believe it would have to be an INI setting that you change that disables events. So if you're playing on an Age of Calamitous server, something with really heavy modding, and you don't want the Funcom event system to be running, you can turn those off. And the map markers, I'm not sure if you can add those as an option right now or not. I know that there was some desire to leave them in. I asked for them to be removed, but I'm not sure exactly where we stand.
Sweet. Thank you. Yeah, sorry if I'm cutting out or whatever because I'm like talking over here. Sorry. There's a noise gate on the microphone that we'll need to adjust things. Sorry. Again, this is kind of a new setup we're trying out with, so there's some quirks to still iron out.
Please rework the chat box. Yeah.
I wish.
Yeah. That's definitely on my list of things.
Yeah.
But one thing too, I guess it's worth mentioning is, and PvP players, feel free to be mad at me already. In order to promote a greater sense of community and have people know who they're playing with and be able to identify people, one thing I want to do is make it so the player list is visible again, so you can see who's online, who has what characters, etc. This is a really big hindrance for people that are playing, and want to be part of a community, so they literally don't know who's out there to talk with. So it's really important in terms of a game like this that's meant to be very social, to promote those social activities. So we'll probably be turning that back on so people can see who's actually on the server. And improving the chat box is another thing that would go down that route of making community stronger.
You like communities. I like
Ditto.
It's my job. Okay, going over some more stuff. Increase server caps. Probably, well, I mean, technically, they don't have to be 40, but things kind of start unraveling pretty quick if it's like a ton of people, unless you have monstrous hardware.
Yeah.
At least in my experience.
Way back in the day, whenever the game was like very first made, I think we got close to 100 people on the server. Didn't do well.
Yeah, I remember early on.
Didn't do
Yeah,
great.
yeah. I remember like we tried like 70-person official servers like as a test with a different provider, and it was just like, man, yeah, it was not great.
Yeah. Proximity chat. That's another thing that, in terms of making the community stronger, I feel like it's really important that we'll be looking into. Sure.
So what about PvP? How will sorcery affect that? I mean, that's kind of up to y'all. I mean, obviously, it'll affect PvP in such that whatever you can do with sorcery will just affect the way that you play the game. I mean, again, it's important to keep in mind that sorcery deliberately does not have any like spammable nukes or anything like that. So it's more about, again, utility, control, mobility, allowing you and your allies to get to different places through different means. And so that will certainly impact PvP. But like, like for example, like I've seen some people talk about like the bat call that you can make with sorcery. It allows you to fly.
This one.
Yeah. What you had charging already. So, yeah, like obviously, like this opens up a whole, like literally a whole new dimension of travel for a lot of folks. But of course, you have to keep in mind that there is the time cost, the reagent cost, and also you can't call a bat for another person. So you yourself need to be corrupted enough to be able to use that, and that, of course, reduces your total health and stamina. And so, if you wanted to do like a big base raid operation or whatever with like a bunch of people jumping in with bats, technically that's possible, but like keep in mind that y'all are going to be just physically, like objectively weaker attempting to do that because you just don't have as much health and stamina jumping in.
One thing that might not be really obvious just observing it, but once you get in and play the game, you'll see, is that when you cast these spells, there's a corruption requirement for these.
Mm-hmm.
So if I just pick, if I cast one of these, all it costs is a reagent pouch. But if I want to go to the next level, the next tier up of spells, I have to have 20% corruption.
Okay, I forgot about archers too. Yeah, archers are a very good bat air raid deterrent because they're really good at hitting flying targets. You'll just get kicked off pretty fast.
Yeah, that's a really good defense to build, for sure. I wanted to be sure of that before we put it out too. Archers will hit people on the Bat Demon. I did a little localized test in that little undead camp next to the sinkhole, and they were nailing me. And I was like flying evasively, and I was still getting hit half the time. So, it will change PvP, guaranteed.
Of course, yeah.
And we knew that going into it. And one thing about PvP is like, you really don't want it to stay the same, do you? There are a lot of things to complain about, but if we fix the things you complain about, it just unveils a new list of things to complain about. So we can't predict the meta. We can't definitely know what's going to happen. As game designers, we should be trying to predict what will happen and not trying to ruin the game. So this will open a new dimension. Things will be different. Embrace it for what it is. Enjoy the game the way it is now. Someday it might not be the way it is.
Yeah, like things are like, especially like as with many other live service games also, like things are going to change, and deliberately or not, like as we add new features or change things around, like you'll just have to adapt and change the way you play. And I think that's overall healthy for the game. Yeah, you don't want to totally stagnant like metagame.
Some other stuff just to mention is like health bars are fixed in this version, so you don't have like always on health bars anymore. And whenever a health bar is visible, it gets occluded by geometry. So like, now you could do something where your clan jumps into a teleporter pad and hide, like you just all get in and hide inside someone's base and they just can't find you. Like, just because the Bat Demon exists doesn't mean that's the only way into a base.
Right.
Or, if you're defending in like you have a teleporter pad, you surround it with a bunch of followers that just nuke anyone that comes through it, right? Like, there's a lot of counterplay to things, more than I think you're expecting.
Yeah. And then Adventure Goddess on YouTube also asked, like, is the battle one-time use? Like, technically yes, in that you have to cast a Bat Demon each time you want to use it, but like it's not like it's not like a consumable apart from the reagents that it might cost.
Right. So it costs these leather pouches, and each of these you crafted the alchemy bench whenever you learn sorcery. So These are tier 1 spells, the weak ones, the middle strength ones, and the super strong ones. So you have to have this reagent to cast it, and you need to have 40% corruption. So right now I have, max corruption, but there's a cost,
Yeah, and then casting the mere act of casting sorceries also
corrupting.
Accumulates corruption as well. So you do.
It's like a negative feedback loop.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so there is a cost associated with that. So again, I think we hope that there's plenty of counterplay options for that, and we can only ask you to just experiment. And if things are like really weird, then we can obviously we have the power to change things, but we also want to ask you to just play with it, period, and then adapt and just see how that goes. And if it's really unhealthy, we can always change it. Let's see. Yeah. Patch notes writer get a raise.
That's Ignacy. Yes. You heard it here first. Ignacy gets a raise.
Yay!
But it's only active for as long as it took him to write the patch notes.
There were a lot of patch notes there.
Yeah, it's been months.
Yeah.
Retroactive pay.
Yep. Are there other streams planned between now and the 3.0 release? That's a good question. Possibly.
Well, no, there's none planned is the answer, right?
Nothing planned right now.
Right.
Like, in this exact moment of time, in my
No.
brain empty, no, but that will change. But in this moment of time, I have no thoughts, head empty, just vibing. I'm also really groggy today. I did not get enough sleep. I was really nervous about today. I always get nervous before streams.
Yeah, I have to always talk Andy down.
Everyone does, and even before the thing, I was just kind of I was clenching my cheeks, and it's just it's cool, dude. You think with you doing this a bunch, I'd get used to it, but I always get a little bit of stage fright before I hit that go live button.
Is there anything in the magic you would like to see specifically?
Oh yeah, we haven't really shown off every possible spell, and there's a whole bunch of them.
Turn the fog back on so the game doesn't look like garbage.
Oh yeah. 3.0 goes live sometime later this year. We don't have an exact release date yet, but it is available on public test for Steam users right now, so you can play with the game features. Keep in mind that Battle Pass and the Bazaar are not available on test.
Yeah, it's going to come out very soon, probably sooner than you guys expect. It's not going to be this week or anything like that, but it's coming.
Indeed. How long does the Wisp spell last? A couple minutes, I think, or a minute? I forget.
Yeah, we actually went back and made it last a little longer. You're finding it didn't last quite long enough. I think the last I saw it lasted about 2 minutes, and I might have asked for it to go to 5 or 10.
Sorry if I'm mispronouncing it, but Jingui on Twitch chat asked, will the authority stat affect things such as the orb of Yazud spider summons?
Ooh, that's a good question for Qui-Gon. I'm not 100% sure if that's considered follower. I don't think it is. But yes, I do not have a definite.
You should turn it nighttime to show off that it's... So yeah, the cool thing about the Wisp also is that it's a localized light source. And so it works to... if you don't want to have a torch and you want a sorcery-flavored light source around you, you can summon a Wisp to fly around with you.
It's the whole reason it exists.
Yeah.
To be fair. I know a lot of people want to use two-handed weapons at night. And this is just a really easy way for us to be oh, look at this glowy soul. Yeah.
And it's a pretty, not low... Well, I don't know if low level is the right way to describe it, but it's a fairly,
early.
Yeah, you get it early on, and it doesn't have a very, it's not very expensive. It doesn't accrue a ton of corruption.
Yeah.
So it's it's meant to be, pretty easy to use with a low impact. And it also works if you use the whole, the darkness spell that we've shown also.
Yeah, with darkness, it's a little easier for you to see inside the darkness than everyone else, but you can also pull out a torch or a wisp and see even further.
Mm-hmm. How long does the flying... so the bat has a stamina bar that depletes over time. If you don't do anything, you'll lose altitude and land anyway. You can increase altitude by pressing spacebar jump, when you're on the Bat Demon, but that does drain more of its stamina. And then once its stamina is depleted, it just kicks you off regardless of where you are. So you will fall to your death if you're not in a safe place when your Bat Demon kicks you off.
Yeah, so just like a mount here, you see the health bar in the top left. So as I just glide, it loses stamina over time, and when I flap my wings to gain altitude, I lose a bigger chunk. It's quite literally stamina.
Yep. How can you cancel a spell after starting its use? You can just roll or jump, I think. And that just stops spell casting, I believe. Let's see. Oh yeah. Do we know of any additional other balance changes that we can expect coming up? I know we talked about it a little bit in a previous stream, but again, I think that bears.
There's so much that I would say you should probably just look at patch
just
notes.
Read the patch notes, yeah.
Unless you have a specific question.
I know a lot of folks.
There is a ton of balance changes.
I know a lot of folks might be excited to know that we are adjusting mounted combat and specifically how lances work while mounted, so you don't just you don't have basically a small short range particle cannon where you just
yeah, absolutely
railroad through people.
Yeah, we've dramatically reduced the number of multi hits that occur from lances from mounted combat. So part of the problem before was you were getting hit 50 times, in a very short period of time, and that's fixed now. The first time a hit occurs from a lance, the character puts the lance back up, and then they have to ready the lance again. So mounted combat should be a lot less effective than it currently is in this.
Let's see. Are there any thoughts on making the dancer effect something that you can opt into?
Nope.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
One cool thing with sorcery is if you corrupt your stats, you can't lose corruption anymore. So the more you corrupt them, the less you can lose. If you fully max out any one stat, you are stuck at the corruption cap, right? So if you don't want to lose corruption because you want to do sorcery, one, strategically place your dancers so they don't remove your corruption. Two, corrupt your body, and then you can't be cleansed. If you're really committed to, sparkle motion, you'll corrupt yourself to the gills.
Yeah. The only other thing is, we just ask you to you just have to be mindful of where you're placing your dancers, and you might just have to move them if they're based in hallways or whatever. That way you can make just a designated dancing lounge where you can lose your corruption if you need to.
I think we'll see people build teleporter pads and surround them with dancers.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So they can just teleport in and get all that corruption
lose as much as possible. Yeah. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's see. There is. Oh yeah, we changed some of the animations, so the idle animation and running animations have changed a little bit, so you're no longer slunched over, particularly when carrying weapons or having weapons equipped. I don't know about lighting. Lighting should be the same. I don't think we've made any significant changes, if any, to the lighting system or anything like that.
Nope.
Bear in mind, this is running on ultra settings at 1080, and using the admin panel, we changed it to nighttime. That's all I can really think of.
Yeah, I can real quick make a couple of days so you can see a little better again.
Let's see. Rip. Oh, is our stat painted on? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to show the new locomotion animations,
okay, gotcha.
which are a lot more upright and less.
Yeah, you're not just constant hunched over.
Yeah, even this stance, it might be hard to tell if you're very familiar with the game. You'll notice that my character is more like this and less like this.
Yep. We finally told all player characters to have a posture check. About time. Is the sorcery staff one-handed or two? I believe it's one-handed.
Yeah, it's one-handed. It's not really a weapon though; it's more of a tool. So
Yeah.
you shouldn't expect to be fighting people with this, even though it does.
I think
Technically...
yeah, you can like bonk people with it if you wanted to. I think with like I want to say yeah, yeah, you can club people with it if you really need to, but it's
very much not a weapon.
yeah. Like you're not gonna really take anyone down with
I don't
that.
think it even has damage modifiers. One thing we didn't touch on this stream, but was in the last one, is that all excuse me, all weapons get a strength or agility designation, which is the primary thing that influences how strong they are. You can see this doesn't even have it, so it doesn't even get bonus damage from your attributes.
Did any of the thrall nerfs or anything like that also affect animal companions? Do you know?
No, we didn't nerf animal companions. Okay. They were already at a disadvantage to thralls, so they're just untouched, I believe. I think they're fully untouched. I don't think their damage changed or anything.
That's cool.
Yes, modders could make a sorcery sword.
Oh, cool. To live out my fantasies as a battle mage. Okay, we've actually been going at this for like about 2 hours now, so we're probably going to be wrapping it up kind of soon, or actually really soon. So we'll just take a couple more questions and then close out things with whatever remarks we want to make, and then tell you all to go play on test and give us your feedback.
There are going to be more damage spells besides the lightning storm. The only other one is the one that summons a bunch of zombies. I think that's the only one that deals any kind of damage outside of lightning storm.
Does the magma wall actually cause any damage?
It used to, but it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't now because I didn't want people to confuse it for a damage spell. Exactly.
Does it still make you hot?
It does have a temperature component,
Okay.
I believe, but it doesn't actually burn you like it used to. Or if it does, it's at a very low rate to make it very clear that it's not 4 damage. That spell's actually probably going to see some updates. It'll launch in the state that it's in now, and we might make it a little more effective and useful in chapter 2.
Cool. Yeah, and like we'll be working on improving or changing whatever existing spells there are, and then ideally we can add more spells too in the future.
Yeah, definitely. There will be more sorcery coming.
Oh, does taking damage interrupt casting?
It should.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have hyper armor while casting.
Does the authority attribute affect animal companions?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's any follower, anything that follows you around and fights with you.
Okay.
For damage.
Max level still 60, and I don't think we're planning on increasing that.
Correct.
Let's see. Gotta clear my throat again. I don't think there's new achievements planned yet. Could be misspeaking. I don't know. I don't think there are. Can you use a bat while over encumbered?
I don't remember. I know we talked about this, but I'm not 100%.
That's a good question. Let's try it. Just spawn a bunch of pedestals on yourself.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of questions also about Twitch drops. We would love to do it, but I don't know what our plans are for that. If and or when they do happen in the future, for example, like if we do like a tie-in event with the official launch, no, we'll let you know. But I don't have knowledge of that. I'm sure. But stay tuned. Like, yeah, we'll stay tuned. Oh yeah. So with the attribute changes, I know we're changing a bunch of so any armor that had attributes is now being changed to something else, or like a similar bonus, but not giving straight attributes.
That's right. So what we did is we changed it so armor gives the derivative of an attribute instead of the attribute itself. In old builds, on top of the fact that you had this almost asinine number of points to spend, that it made sense if you looked into it, but if you weren't really digging into the system, you didn't know how the points worked. On top of that, you could also equip armor that gave plus attribute points, so you could really make a wacky build. With this system, we know that everybody will have 60 points to spend, no matter what. The armor now, as you'll see like on this one, instead of giving plus vitality, it gives plus health. Health is the derived stat that comes from gaining vitality. I don't know if this is all health. So here, instead of just giving you the stamina attribute, it gives you actual stamina.
All right, I'm getting yelled at by my compatriots to finish things up. Sorry to keep y'all. Let me see if there's one more thing that I can. What about the grass? What about the grass?
Grass is removed when you build building pieces.
Game of the year 2022 at last. In 84 years, finally. Grass, man. I touch grass, okay? Contrary to popular belief, I do in fact touch grass.
Here we go.
We did it. The future. Welcome to the future, y'all. We did it. At last. Yeah, teabag it. Okay, friends.
That's the end.
And that, on that note, yeah, we're gonna be wrapping it up. Long 2-hour stream. Thank you all for thank you all for tuning in. Sticking around this long. Big thanks to the team for yelling at me on Slack and moderating the channels and talking with folks on both YouTube and Twitch. To wrap up, Update 3.0 is now available on Test Live or on the test server. For those of you playing on Steam, on PC, you can just download it and play it right now. Official launch is still scheduled for Q3 2022, but stay tuned for more info on that soon.
Yeah.
TM. And that's all I got. Anything else from you?
Nope.
Cool.
I hope that everyone watching this gets on the Test Live client and checks it out and yells at me about what they like and don't like.
Yep, please yell at us. I'll link the patch notes again in chat. And then there's also a separate discussion thread that you guys can find also on our forums. Just pop in, let us know what you think. And just break the hell out of everything as possible, because that helps us make it as polished as possible for when this thing does go live. So
no one's picked up any new books to read this week. Those patch notes are a really good.
Go sit down, get comfy, grab a drink. Anyway, thank you all so much again. We will see you sometime in the future.
Yep.
Love y'all. Bye. Bye.